Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mark with Spiguyver Backpacking. Thank you for joining me today. I've got part one of what may be several parts to a series that I'm starting to put together based on this hammock behind me. So which hammock is this? This is the Dutchware Gear Chameleon. You guys have seen my initial review on it. You've seen me do some comparisons with other hammocks and talked about how it stacked up. You've seen me do some of the accessories to it. But this video is going to be all of the accessories. We're going to talk about everything that Dutch has made to make this hammock what it is. Now that is one of the things that really sets the Chameleon apart from any other hammock out there, are all of the accessories, all of the different options and setups that you can do to make this hammock exactly what you want it to be. So let's take a look at what Dutch has put together to make this hammock what it is. Let's go. So right here we have the Chameleon in its most basic form. This is the hammock body. So this is just the body. If you were to buy just the Chameleon body from Dutchware Gear, this is what you'd get. It has zippers along both sides. It has some hooks and some D-rings on the outside. It's got them on the inside. If you have any questions about any of those, where they're located, check out my initial Dutchware Gear video review of the Chameleon, and I'll locate that right up top somewhere around here so that you guys can check that out. But it has those both on the inside and outside, both sides. It has the zipper that goes the full length. It has the little covers, the mesh covers on each end. It's got continuous loops. You can opt to get any type of suspension you want with it. Dutch offers a couple of different ones on his website that you can choose from. I personally like Dyneema or the new Venom for my suspension. Other people like Whoopee Slings or some of the other clip type setups. There's a ton of them that Dutch has come out with, like the Mantis and some of the other spiders. But this is what I like. It's very simple. I use a Beckett hitch. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about this. So like I said, this is the most basic setup you can possibly do right here. And this is just a hammock body. No net, no top cover, nothing like that. So let's take a look at what this thing can do. What can we add to this to make it yours? Now, because of the zipper system that I talked about, you can see the zipper on both edges. It allows you to put on integrated bug nets, top covers, whatever it is that you're looking for. So in the winter, you may want to go just completely topless because the bugs aren't a problem, and go just the way it is right here with just the body. Now, when those bugs come out, a bug net is very effective. Keeps the bugs out of your face, keeps them off of you while you're inside of your hammock. Now, granted, a couple may get in while you're getting in and out, but it's not going to be continuous through the night, them coming in and getting you. So you have this bug net that's offered. And the cool thing about all of the bug nets and top covers, the way that these zippers are designed, they're not directional zippers. So that means that you can take this top cover and put it on the normal lay, which is head right, foot left, or you can flip it over and put it the way that I lay, which is head right, foot left. So normal is head left, foot right. My way is head right, foot left. There are a lot of people that lay each direction. And so Dutch has designed the system so that you can flip it over. Now what you'll find is that if you lay the normal direction, it would be sewn normal. So head left, foot right has a normal sew. So the seams are all nice and clean on the outside. If you lay the way that I lay, you're going to be laying with it inside out essentially, and so you can see the seams are flipped. So what would normally be a nice clean outside is actually flipped out and so it's a little bit different, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so here is the fabric, and you can see the zippers on each side. Now, right now, it's nice and smooth all the way across, and you can see the seams are very nice right here, and that's how you would normally see something. Now, if you flip it over, you can see that there's the lip right here, and this outside would be if you lay my direction. So it's just a matter of finding out, is it the clean side or is it the seam side that you've got right there, and that's how you figure out which side it is. Okay, once you've got it figured out which side you need and which side goes where, you can kind of lay it over the ridge line and then come up and find the ends of the zipper underneath the little netting up here. Get your zipper, put it in, and then it zips in very nicely, very easily, no problem at all. Now what you'll have to do is make sure that you have the zipper, zip it all the way up to the end so that you can put it together. And it's not a hard process whatsoever once you find it. Because of the bug netting that's up there, you can actually see through. And now you've got one side put on. You repeat that process for the other side and you'll have a bug net on. So let's take a look. So here is my Chameleon with the bug net installed. Now the cool thing about this is if you look right over here, I've got the pull out on my head side and the pull out on my foot side, keeps it spread out. That way as I'm getting in and out, it tends to keep my top quilt inside, anything I've got laying in there, inside a little bit better so it doesn't fall out. Additionally, because of these zippers are very easy to pull with these pulls on there, and they can be placed anywhere along the hammock body that you want them. So if you want them out of the way, you don't like where they were hitting you in the face or whatever, you can move them and relocate them wherever you would like along the hammock. Additionally, with these pullouts, one of the things that it does is when you're in there, the weight pulls down, you've got your ridge line pulling it taut up above you. With those pullouts, it keeps it off of your face. It keeps that bug net off of your face, which is something I really appreciate. So now we've seen the bug net, let's take a look at some of the other options that you can get, such as a top cover. Here you can see this Chameleon with the top cover on. So what's really cool about the top cover is you can get it in any color that suits you. So you can really customize it to be yours. Additionally, now Dutch actually offers print fabrics. So you can check out his website, see the different ones that he's got out there, and I think for a small fee, he will actually use anything that you have. You can send him a picture as long as it's in the right format. He could print the fabric to be exactly what you need and what you like. So this is the top cover. This one you can see a little bit better what I was talking about, especially if I unzip it. And what I'll do is I'll bring you in a little bit closer and show you this in a minute. But this is an argon material up top. It's got a nice vent right here so that your head will be laying right here. If you lay with your head on the other side, again, this thing unzips, flips over. So what's now inside becomes outside, and your head would be on the other side, so this vent would be right where your head would be. What this does is it traps in a little bit more warm air and keeps you a little bit warmer on those colder nights. Conservatively, about 10 degrees warmer inside than what the temperature is outside. And so that effectively helps with what you carry as far as your quilt setup. Really like this setup. Again, very cool that you can customize it, make it yours. You can do different color, the hammock fabric body, you can do different colors, you can do different weights, you can do different fabrics, and same with the top cover. So let's take a look at what I was talking about with the inside and outside. Okay, so here you can see the stitching. Now, one way you can really tell with this argon fabric whether you've got it head left or head right. So this right now is head right, and you can see it's a very shiny look on that material. If I open it up and I show you the inside, you can see it's a much more dull color. You see that? You can see the contrast here where it's more of a dull and more of a shiny. Additionally, you can see where it's got the rolled edge on the outside right now, and that's for head right. If you're head left, it's got the nice clean side. So it's the nice clean edge right there, whereas it's got the rolled edge right here for head right. So you've got your hammock set up and you're out there and you're camping and you're like, you know, I really wish I had more storage. So you guys saw the gear loft that I have in there. That is not something from Dutch. You can get ridgeline organizers, you can get water bottle pockets, you can get other different things that he offers that you can hang from the ridgeline or hang from the D-rings that are inside of the hammock or outside of the hammock. You know, you could hang one of the water bottle holders outside, slide your water bottle in there, and then just unzip, reach out and grab it. That way it's not taking up any space inside. Additionally, he offers something called a sidecar. Now the sidecar is a big pocket that allows you to store a lot of gear inside of your hammock. Very accessible. Let's take a look. So this is a sidecar. What the sidecar is it's a pouch that zips into the side of your hammock. It has two D-rings on the outside that you can stake out, pull out, just like the pullouts that I have on the tarp. Now I'm not going to actually pull it out right now because I want it to hang here so I can show you some of these features. So you can access it from the outside by opening up and reaching in here. If you're inside, well, it's open, so you just reach in and grab whatever you need from in there. Additionally, if you have your underquilt on and you need to get to your underquilt, from the inside you have another set of zippers that allows you to get on the inside to the outside and be able to grab your underquilt and move it around. This specific sidecar is zipped in. It has a small piece of fabric that runs the entire length of the hammock and zips in to the hammock body, and then has a second zipper that you then zip your top cover into, or your bug net. So this one can be used with either your bug net or your top cover, or used alone. So you don't even need a top cover on at all to use this one. Now, what we did find while we were out in the Eagle Rock Loop, I had Chris and Beekeeper and myself, and we used a bunch of different hammocks. And one of the things we mentioned about this one is when it is staked out, when it's down, and you're laying with your head on the other side, reaching to the bottom of this, you throw stuff in there, the heavier stuff sinks to the bottom. Reaching to the bottom of it from the other side can be a real feat, and you've got to kind of reach across and kind of dig in to get there. So I actually talked with Dutch and found out there is a way to make this a little bit smaller, because I had suggested maybe he do one that's, you know, half as deep and maybe even a little bit longer to keep the dimensions about the same as far as area volume goes, but make it so that you don't have to reach so far in. And he actually told me that was something he had thought of. So let's take a look at that. All right, here is this sidecar. And this sidecar is quite deep, as you can see. And if you're reaching in from the other side, I mean, it's a pretty good distance down to the bottom. I mean, that's pretty deep. I actually wanted something a little bit more shallow. And so what he showed me was you have these D-rings on the inside of your hammock. And he has these placed strategically throughout the hammock. Now, this sidecar can actually be placed in 4 spots around the hammock, either head end, either side, or foot end, either side. And the way that you do it is by flipping it inside out, and there are additional D-rings that match the ones that are on the outside on the inside. So you just turn it inside out, and because of the way that the zippers work, you just move it around. Now, what these do is they allow you to attach. You can use a mitten hook, a carabiner. I actually found these little pieces of Velcro to work really, really well. And so you just attach the inner D-ring to the D-ring in the hammock body, like this. connect the two together, and now you have a sidecar that's half as deep as it was before because you've pulled the inside up. Now, you can still access the pullouts and pull it out. So that stabilizes everything, and it makes it so that it's not as deep. It kind of cuts it into two inside, so you can kind of put stuff on one side or put stuff on the other side, and it makes it a really nice, organized way to keep your gear while you're laying in your hammock. So here's a good look at how this sidecar is zipped in. So you have two zippers, a strip of fabric here, and then the sidecar right here. So this piece of fabric runs the entire length of the hammock, and it just zips in to the hammock body. And so you've got zippers on either side, as you can see here. And so it's real easy to zip this in, zip it out. If you zip it out, then you can zip the top cover directly to the hammock body and not need this, or you can add this in. It adds about an inch of width there. Does nothing to change the lay or the way that the top cover fits on, but it does give you additional storage, and it works really well. The modularity of this system is just incredible. So you may be like me and be a little bit weight conscious and try and trim down everything and still keep the versatility as high as possible. This particular piece allows you to do that. Now, the sidecar that I had just shown you had to zip in. So it had a fabric piece that went the entire distance, the entire body of the hammock, with an additional zipper, and that's just additional weight. So why not incorporate the sidecar into the hammock body, or into the top cover, or into the bug net? And that's exactly what Dutch thought of and gave us this one. So let's go around to the other side and take a look at this one. Okay, on this one, now you can see we have the bug net that runs continuously into the sidecar. Now this sidecar, again, just like all the other covers that Dutch has used, can be flipped upside down so that you switch the head side. Right now it's set up the way that I would use it, head right, foot left, and you can see that by the way that this thing is pulled out. I've additionally attached the pull-out so that you can see that it does pull out the sidecar and keep it nice and taut so that you have a nice area that's kind of hung out there and it's not pulling down on your hammock itself while you're in there. So you can see that it's one continuous piece that goes smoothly down into the sidecar, and there's no additional zipper. Right here you can see we have the one zipper, and that is the zipper that's both the top cover or the bug net and the sidecar. What's nice about this mesh for the sidecar is that you can see the contents of your sidecar. You can see what's in there. So if I was to put my hand in there, you can see right through there. And so if you've got something in there, you can easily see where it is, what it is, and grab whatever it is exactly that you're looking for. Additionally, it does have the D-rings on the inside, just like it has on the outside, so that when you flip it over and you put it on the other side, what's now the inside becomes the outside, and you can pull it out just like you do right here. Pretty cool. Adds a little bit of functionality with the sidecar. Not a lot of weight, because right now we're talking about just bug net, just the mesh bug net, and no additional zipper. So really, you've just added a lot of functionality, a lot of storage, without adding really any weight to this. You don't have to use the pullouts, so you can take those off, not have them, whatever you want to do. Additionally, because it has D-rings inside, you could still do what I showed you on the other one and shorten it so that it's half the depth and you're not reaching in so far. A lot of functionality here, guys, but there's more. Let's take a look. All right, next up, we have the top cover with the integrated built-in sidecar. Just like on the bug net, you can see that it's one continuous piece of fabric. Again, just one zipper, not two zippers, saving the weight of that strip of fabric and the zipper, still giving you that full sidecar functionality, still with the D-rings inside and outside, so you can run it full length like it is now, or split it in half using the inner D-rings like I showed you before. This one's going to keep the warmth in. If you're using it with a little bit of versatility, it's a little too warm, you shove your entire top quilt down into here. Plenty of room to eat up that entire top quilt, keep it off of you while you're lounging in there. No worry of your top quilt falling out as you're getting in and out. Still has the mesh vent that goes all the way down to the head side. And additionally, just like I had shown before, with this argon fabric that Dutch uses for the top covers, this side is the shiny side. If you're laying head right, like I do, it's going to be the shiny side out. If you lay the opposite way, if you look inside, you can see that it is the dull matte finish. So shiny outside, head right, dull outside for head left. Pretty easy. Once you recognize the two sides, it's pretty easy to make sure that you're setting it up correctly. Sidecar adds a lot of functionality. Something to think about if you ever are lacking for storage with your Chameleon. But this isn't it. There are more options that Dutch offers out there. Let's take a look at another one. When Dutch came out with the Chameleon, one of the things I really thought was cool about it and innovative was the fact that you could take the top cover and flip it over, and it could go from a head right to a head left lay, and you could switch the direction you lay. Now, I did get some comments from some people after I posted that video that said, that's awesome that you can switch it, but I flip-flop through the night from head right to head left, so how can this accommodate me? You have to take the top cover off and flip it over to get to the other lay. Well, Dutch listened. Dutch listened to what people had to say, and he came out with this one. If you can see now, the pullouts that I've got pulling are pulling from the most center D-rings. And it's pulled symmetrically, just out in the middle. This top cover is a symmetrical top cover. So now, this is one that you can put on and lay either head left, head right, flip-flop throughout the night, lay on your side, lay on your stomach if you're comfortable that way, and move around a lot more. This is great for, I find it's really great for kids. They kind of flip-flop and move around a lot, that they're not putting undue stress on the hammock or the top cover, depending on the way they lay in there. For those people that flip-flop throughout the night, this is great for them. For those that don't know which way they lay, you could start off with this one. One of the great things about the Chameleon and all of the accessories that go with it is you can start out just with the hammock body. Figure out exactly which way is comfortable for you, and then buy the accessories that you want. If you aren't sure whether or not you're going to use the sidecar, you buy the one that zips in, and it's an add-on that you can take or leave depending on the trip, depending on your mood, depending on what you need. Or you could buy the one that's integrated and have it all the time. Because of the zipper, because of the way these are made, you can put the same hammock body with any one of these accessories that you choose to go with. So this one is the symmetrical Moonlight option. So this one's kind of cool. It's got a couple of options, a couple of unique features that we're going to take a closer look at. Okay, with this symmetrical top cover, there is one additional feature that Dutch has come up with, and he calls this the Moonlight feature. And so it's open. It's pretty open and airy, and if I lay in here diagonal, you know, the whole top cover is nice and tight, so it isn't like it's droopy, which is one of the things that was a concern of mine. But now that I'm in here, you know, I can lay either direction. So I can move from head right to head left. You know, if I'm comfortable that way, that's something I can do. I could lay any way I want, flip-flop around. But say it's cold out and the wind is coming through this, and I wish that there was some way I could cut it down, or I wish I could block out and get a little bit more privacy in here, something, you know, maybe I'm changing my clothes, whatever, and I don't have a tarp over the top, because the tarp would add the privacy that I really should use and would be looking for. But I've got this. So this comes down. So you've got the zippers up here. So you can reach up, grab the zipper, and zip this thing completely closed. And be careful not to get the hammock body or the bug net in there. So you can zip it completely closed, and it has a little bit of elastic on the ends right here that keeps it nice and tight. Or you can open part of it, open this up, and it has mitten hooks on there that you can then connect to the D-rings and kind of open it up varying amounts just to allow what you want as far as sunlight, as far as air in, or you can open it all the way. Additionally, one of the things you can do is open it from the other side. So instead of zipping it that direction, it has zippers on both ends. So it has zippers on both ends, and you can pull it down and create, you know, a smaller area just up at the top that's vented rather than having the whole thing vented. Or you can zip it completely closed if that's how you would like to go for that day. So another cool feature, right now it's almost like a complete winter sock. So even more coverage, even more warmth is going to be trapped in here than in a standard top cover. So this will keep you warmer if this is the route you want to go. Plus, it allows you to flip-flop. Pretty cool feature. Okay, so right here I have a piece of gear that I really like. Now, the only downside to this one is that you have to take the continuous ridge line off the end in order to put this on. But once it's on, I would use it throughout winter. So this is a piece, it would not be used in the configuration you currently see it. So right now I have it, no sidecar, just my bug net, the way that I would normally use it in the summer. Since we're rolling into the summer right now, I'm just gonna leave it set up this way because this is the way that I use it most of the time. But I wanted to show this piece of gear, and the bug net allows you to see inside to see this piece of gear. So right here, you can see this piece of fabric. Now this is a piece of argon that has a hook that goes onto the ridgeline. Like I said, you have to disconnect the ridgeline to actually put it on. And it has this little clip that you slide together, it goes in there, and then you can pinch it and move it to set it where you want it. Now I'm just kind of sliding it over some of the knots, the prussics that I have on here for my gear loft, which kind of keeps it in place. On each side it has hooks that you can hook into the D-rings. Again, functionality, those D-rings inside are there for a purpose. You can hook this to it. On either side it has shock corded elastic that you can tighten up. So you'll tighten it up more on the non-head side because you have less fabric over there. With your head laying over there, with the asymmetric pull, you've got less room here, more room here. And so this one ends up being longer, this one ends up being shorter. But what it does, your head lays on this side of the fabric, your body's on this side of the fabric. Now, if you guys have seen several of my videos, first time I experienced it was on the Foothills Trail with Beekeeper, my son Justin, and his son Ryan. I noticed that when I got up after using the top cover, I had condensation all over my top quilt. Again, on, I believe, the little Kasachi loop, or the Kasachi loop, whatever it was that Beekeeper and I did. And again, on the trip with the Eagle Rock loop trip, where we did the comparison of the hammocks, I noticed that in all of my hammocks, with the top cover on, at the right temperature, with the right humidity levels, I end up with dew all over, or condensation all over my top quilt. Now what this does is it keeps the condensation in the head area, so very little of your top quilt is going to get wet. And actually the way that it lays, you can actually pull it up over and maybe even tuck it into your top quilt so that you aren't going to get any condensation, any wetness on your top quilt. Now a lot of people out there, like you've got Frozen from Outdoor Adventures, you've got Shug, they've created things called frost bibs, and this just takes it a little bit further and keeps that condensation from getting to the other side of the hammock. Very cool, very effective piece, which I will install and be using when wintertime comes back around, because I have had that problem and this will solve it. So this is part one of my series that's going to showcase options and ways that you can use the Dutchware Gear Chameleon. It is a modular system which allows you to pick and choose the pieces that you want and you need for your trip. So you can select what you want to take, what you want to leave home, how comfortable you want to be, whether you want to lay one direction, both directions on any given trip. Just the added features such as this water bottle pocket here that you can either attach to the ridge line or outside or inside using the D-rings allows you a lot of options, a lot of different choices with the hammock. You've got the different covers. You've got whether or not you want to use a sidecar. You've got where you want to put the sidecar. You've got pullouts that you can use. You've got pullouts that you don't need to use. You've got clips that you can use for your underquilt in order to keep it where you want it. Great system. I loved the modularity of it the first time I saw it, the first time I used it, and that hasn't changed. In fact, every time I turn around, Dutch keeps coming out with more stuff, which is why this series is probably going to continue to grow and grow and grow, because he keeps releasing new things, cool things, things that I like, things that I think I will use, and things that allow me to get out with my kids, have a more enjoyable experience, and not be stuck with the same thing every time I go out. If I want extra storage because I'm bringing the kids, I can have that. If I want to lay either direction, I can do that. If I want to be able to flip-flop in the middle of the night or take one of my kids that flip-flops in the middle of the night, I can do that. Very, very cool system. I like it. I'm going to continue to use it. From the first time I laid in the Chameleon, I was sold. It is a comfortable hammock. It is one of the most comfortable hammocks I've ever laid in. I've got the 1.6 fabric. I've tried the 1.0 fabric. I like the 1.6 a little bit better. If you're using it with dogs or you're a little bit heavier, you can go with the 1.6, you can go with the 2.4. You can source different things that are out there and make it yours. That's the thing. You can go with different colors. Now you can go with the printed fabrics. You know, you can get cheeseburgers and french fries on your top cover and on your quilt or on your hammock body. You can get coffee beans, you can get burlap sack, whatever you want printed. There are so many options now that you can absolutely make this your hammock. The actual hammock itself isn't that customizable as far as the size, the width, the attachment points, but that's what makes it good, is that Dutch has designed all of the pieces to work with it the way that he designed it and he set it up. The zipper, the D-rings, the hooks are all purpose designed. You can't ask for much more than that in a hammock. And the fact that you can buy it one time, then go out and buy the extra pieces as you need them, you know, you don't have to drop all the money at one time. You can do it as you have the funds available. Guys, I appreciate you checking this out. There will be more to come on this, and probably a lot more to come if we know Dutch. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you guys down the trail.